friends, it's Sister Marla Clerks. About a year and a half ago, I moved into a new neighborhood, and I'm very blessed to have moved into a family that has 3 young children. One day, one of the girls was outside with their dog, and the dog happens to be a St. Bernard. So I asked her, "What did you name your dog?" And she said, "Her name is Minnie. Do you get it?" And fortunately, I did. That's not to say I always get things. Sometimes they're beyond me. Sometimes maybe I'm not paying enough attention to them. Sometimes maybe I think they really don't apply to me. We see in our gospel story today a scribe who comes up to Jesus and asks him, "What is the greatest commandment?" And we know Jesus's answer when he does that twofold answer. He said, "Well, God is the only God of your life. And so you should love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. But you should also love your neighbor as you love yourself. And these are the greatest commandment." He says these are the greatest commandment, meaning they cannot be separated. The scribe says, "You're right in saying that." And Jesus says to him, "You're not far from the kingdom of God." I think a good question for us to ask ourselves is, do we really get that? Do we understand that they are one commandment together? We often think of the commandments being the 10 Commandments, and those were in Mosaic law. But this is Jesus the Christ speaking. He's going beyond Mosaic law, going beyond the 10 Commandments, and reminding people that the way we love others, the way we love ourselves, cannot be separated from the way we love God. And I think in this day and age, especially, that can really be a challenge for us because I think all of us would say we do love God, we do love others. And yet, if we're really honest in that answer and saying we do get that, we would study more the life of Christ. How did he show that these were the most important things to follow in our lives? He showed it by reaching out to those who were ignored. He showed it by again and again reminding people that it is the poor who need our time and attention. It is the immigrant, the widow, the orphan who deserves to be front and center in our lives. For he repeatedly says, these are not far from God's heart. And so a question we ask ourselves is, do I get that? Do I understand that the way in which I live my life, the way in which I pray, the way in which I vote, the way in which I reach out to others, that I understand the life of Christ calling me to reach out to immigrants, calling me to reach out to the homeless, calling me to reach out to the poor, the forgotten, the ostracized, those who don't agree with my views. In doing so, Jesus can say to us as well, you're not far from the kingdom of God because you understand that they cannot be separated. The love of God cannot be separated from the love of others or even from the love of ourselves. It's a huge challenge for us, I think, especially in the tenor of these times. But what an important way for us to model Christ's life. What an important way for us to strive to bring back some of the civility, some of the honesty, some of the compassion that perhaps we have lost as individuals or as a society. The challenge is there. I think each one of us would like to say to God, I do get it. I do understand. I know sometimes I put that maybe as secondary, but I'm trying very hard not to follow just the 10 Commandments, but to follow the greatest commandment, which is to love.